Good afternoon, YouTube. Good afternoon, my fellow Canadians. I'm making this video. This is part two of something that I mentioned just a moment ago on the city mayor. Here he is getting interviewed by BNN Bloomberg, and so I just want to give them credit for the video, and I will let him proceed, and then I will comment.
Economy is running on all cylinders across the country, except really here. And certainly you can never balance the federal budget if Alberta is not doing well, but it's also not good for the nation if Alberta is not doing well. And a lot of Albertans feel like we've been making the case that, look, it's time for us to have a special focus on Alberta, and no one is listening. And I think that you saw a lot of those frustrations boil over during the elections. Certainly, we don't have any Liberal seats in Alberta. That's not all that new. You know, we didn't have any prior to 2015, that we'd never elected a Liberal in Calgary since 1960, to show that they recognize the needs of Alberta, including reaffirming their commitment to the Trans Mountain Pipeline, which I think will happen quite quickly, as well as really talking about balancing energy and the environment. I think that Premier Kenney's open letter to the Prime Minister yesterday was quite helpful. He's certainly no great friend of the Prime Minister at all, but he laid out a path of things that we might be able to work together on, and I think the federal government would be well served to read that letter very carefully.
Now, every time that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, including today, in his first post-election availability with journalists, is asked about the Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion, he says it's going forward, we bought it. But when you talk to people from the West, they still don't believe him. What's it going to take? We need shovels in the ground, many shovels in the ground. Do we need to start seeing some progress?
There are shovels in... You know, I have to say, sometimes I feel bad for people because there are shovels in the ground.
Okay, that's enough. So here we are with Mayor Nenshi again. I wanted to address the reason why the West doesn't believe him. It's because Trudeau has lied so many times that the West just, there's nothing that he can say that we'll ever believe again. Every single scandal, every one, has been exposed as a lie. Anyway, getting back to Nenshi. Nenshi made some points here that I really, again, I reiterate, he has no business interfering in the politics of a federal matter or a provincial matter. And before he ventures out like that, he should look in his own backyard, in his own house, and restore things to order. I look at here, we live in Calgary. Under this mayor, we have suffered a great deal of deficits and increased taxes and incompetence in the city in terms of saving money. So he's going on about balancing the budget. He doesn't know anything about balancing a budget. All of his programs is about luxury, about trying to break things that are already good enough as it is. If you ask citizens that live in an area where they've done construction, what they tell you is, well, they did construction, everything seems to be fine as it is before, but now it's even worse. Oh, you ask them the question, well, did it improve? No, it get worse. It didn't get better. What I'm trying to summarize is this guy is breaking up this city as fast as he can get his hands on it, and infrastructure projects and the road works are just an absolute catastrophe. There's no order or discipline to it whatsoever. In addition, he spent $6 million on bike lanes that were essentially useless, $485 million wasted on the Saddle Dome, like $4.5 billion for Green Line, just as an estimate. You know, he talk about things that issues in Calgary should be his concern. He don't even look after his own house, so to speak. It's an absolute catastrophe here in Calgary. You know, never mind Trudeau and the carbon tax. You know, Nenshi has done nothing to make it easier on Calgarians to weather the storm of unemployment here in Alberta. And in fact, make things more expensive and worse for us. So I can say with conviction that Nenshi don't know anything about what he talk about here. It's an absolute hypocrisy. In addition, $389 million, I believe, spent on the 17th Avenue Purple Max. So a lot of projects, He just break things down and remake it, and an absolutely pointless thing. So this guy is no authority on trying to be fiscally responsible. I told you that in the previous video, but I say it again here. In addition to that, it seemed that the city infrastructure, he tried to save $60 million for city expenses by cutting EMS, fire, and police services. So that just goes to show you, like, rather than cut back the useless programs he's implementing, he'd rather cut back things that are needed for the people themselves, for the city to function properly. No authority whatsoever for him to speak about the federal matters and whatnot. You know, hypocrisy. Justin Trudeau make things terrible for Alberta. True. Carbon tax and equalization tax, but he's no better. He make things overcharging, higher taxes each year. Even me, myself, a 200% increase in property taxes in my area alone. Just since he became mayor. This year it will be something like 220%. So it's pathetic for him. He never put his own house in order. Jordan Peterson said that. I repeat it again. He said, clean up your own room before you venture out to try to change the world or other people's lives. This guy never do anything like that. His house is in chaos. Who is he to sit to lecture Kenny or the state of the future for pipelines and whatnot? He don't know nothing about governing. He just wasting time talking, try to make hay out of the political situation we have now. He don't make things easier for Calgarians. That is my criticism of him. He make things harder. Where so many people in Alberta, they talk about being at the end of their rope. They have no more left to give. What did this guy do? Raise the property tax, raise tax on everything, make things impossible to access the downtown core. You can get ticketed for parking for 5 minutes, something, just if you have to pick something up. Already you ticketed. It's pathetic. Dictatorship here in Calgary. And no transparency, the same as Trudeau. I criticize him in many ways. I hope many Calgarians get to see it. Because if they had any sense, we vote him out immediately. I heard that Kenny actually has the governing power to eliminate the entire city council for incompetence. But he never exercised that power. But he should. There are a lot of councillors there that make things terrible for us in Calgary. And no business, no incentive to bring business here. You know, we have so much vacancy downtown, more than 26%. We have empty towers and whatnot. Oil firms leaving Calgary because of this guy. Not only Justin Trudeau, this guy shared a great deal of the blame. Calgary was once an economic hub in Alberta. No longer. We have lost so much business. Even a great U.S. company, oil firm, I just found out that they moved out of the city. They moved back to the U.S. Trump make it very, very desirable. The company Devon, actually, I remember the oil firm, Devon. And they're actually Americans, but they're pulling out of Calgary. The taxes are so unsustainable. They cannot conduct business properly here. This guy is terrible. I cannot understate it enough. Overstate it enough. It just creating a situation absolutely terrible for business, impractical for business, impractical for citizens. What will be the prediction for the future? I think many Calgarians will move away. It cannot sustain here. That's maybe his ultimate goal. He wants to completely change Calgary and eliminate the original thing. I look at it in federal politics in Justin Trudeau, I lose heart. So many Calgarians here, they know what I mean. And people in the West under Justin Trudeau, they suffer for the climate change crisis, emergency nonsense. Just a way to steal money from people. That's my opinion. And so many, the climate change, the pretense to grab so many charitable and people that give money away and try to make business out of it. Who that benefited, right? Trudeau. He make that tax just so he can gather and steal more money from people. It can be. I look at this interview of BNN Bloomberg, and I feel so ashamed that that's our mayor. Embarrassment, in fact, that a city like Calgary can elect him 3 times in a row. Unbelievable. But I'll get into that in another video, perhaps, because his election, there is a lot of questionable things that happened in the previous election. I can tell you more. But that aside, I believe that as bad as the situation that Trudeau is presenting for Alberta, Jason Kenney has things well under control, and so does Scott Moe. And if Trudeau doesn't do something about it soon, he may have a real problem on his hands. And that issue will be separation or something like it, perhaps collecting our own taxes. No more equalization. I look at it, the situation in Canada just keep getting worse and worse. But no thanks to this person. Nenshi has done nothing for our city except make things more expensive and make things more incompetent. Our tax dollars is always wasted. No issue is being handled with competence or with any kind of consideration. Just pass out. Spend the money, waste money. He never think in a human way how people struggle to survive here despite the economic climate, and they barely can make ends meet. I heard a statistic that a lot of Canadians are $200 away from bankruptcy. Imagine a family that tried to feed their kids, they cannot do it because they're busy paying taxes and carbon tax and whatnot. It's amazing to me that people, they never see past the surface carbon tax. It's a hidden tax. They don't even tell you how much it was until Jason Kenney got elected. It's more than 30 cents here in Alberta. And if Trudeau continue his idea, it become even more. Gas, natural gas, anything way to heat your home, drive your car, how it affect our common life. What are you going to do? Undo what the society that we currently have? I don't understand it. It's absolutely a reprehensible idea and it should be rejected utterly. And if that thing comes into play, I say that the West will reject it and will push for separation, or at least to govern them in such a manner they can collect their own taxes. Because the federal government, I don't believe for a second that they will change course from their original idea. So I thank you for your time and attention. And there's a lot of interesting things that are happening now to the country now that Trudeau has been reelected. I have many more videos to show you. So I thank you for your time and attention. Bye-bye.